In this video, I'm going to show you 3 amazing funnels you can use to start generating clients from your already existing leads as a real estate agent. And these 3 are things that I've actually seen work really well with agents across the country in the past couple of years. And if you don't know me, my name is Jarvis. I run Jarvis Media Consolidated. We've helped hundreds of agents across the country build up their social media, get better leads, get more quality clients, and all that stuff. And that's where this information has come from. And so let's jump right into how you can use these funnels to generate more leads for your business. So the first thing you're going to want to do here in this first funnel is that we're going to want to build out an Instagram comment slash DM funnel. So what's really nice about this is that this is a funnel where you can build out and trigger people commenting on your post, where then you can start an automatic direct message with them. This is really powerful because a lot of times in lead generation, people will have some sort of lead generation mechanism. They'll get the phone number, they'll get the email of the lead, and then they'll go comment them on text message or phone calls or email, and they don't remember the person because it's the first time interacting with them on that medium, even though they saw you on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. And so this avoids that because it keeps the conversation inside of Instagram or keeps it inside of Facebook, so that when people comment, they still see your profile, they remember the conversation, and it can happen instantaneously, which is a better handoff to then nurturing this lead from the actual get-go. So it's a really powerful tool here. So what you're going to want to do, this is built out of Go High Level, basically. So this is our tool built out of Go High Level, which we call Jarvis Social Manager. If you want to try it out for free, it's an amazing tool. Click the link down below. You can try it out for 14 days for free. This is really easy to build it out here, but you can build it out in other places as well. So you're going to hit a new workflow, and you're going to build this out. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to actually start off with the trigger, and that's going to be the thing that occurs that has this function, that has this funnel basically start in the first place. So this is going to be, we want this to be Instagram comments on a post. So we're going to select this option. This is basically when somebody sees your video and they comment on it, right? Or they see your post and they comment on it. So then first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the page. So I'll choose my page right here. The post type, we want this to be just a published post, right? Because this is just any kind of post. Now you can hit a custom post, and then you can actually choose, go to the post is, and then choose the actual post there. But we want this to just be any published post. We want to run this for a long time, have this apply to multiple different posts. So we're going to keep it as just a published post is what counts here. And then we need to choose what the phrase is going to be, that if somebody comments, it's going to make this trigger. So we're going to say contains phrase, and let's say in this case we'll say home, right? And so we'll hit enter, and then we can have other words there too. So you could say homes if you want to have some variation. It should be not case sensitive, but I like to have it this way just in case, and just have home in a different way with no capitals, and then maybe even home with all capitals. And then so you should be good to go here. Now, another thing you can do is that if you basically are using a more generic phrase like home, and you don't want this to send to anybody unless they're very specifically saying the right thing, you can always say this has to be an exact match, right? And then you would say, oh, this has to be home, and then it's going to work. But only if they say home exactly like this, not if they say homes, not if they say other things, other words along with this. It has to be just a post, just a comment saying the word home. That's basically how that would work there. So then next what we want to do is we want to go ahead and hit save trigger. And so we have our actual trigger in place. So whenever somebody comments home on one of our Instagram posts, this trigger is going to go into effect. Now, the first thing that we want to do is actually put a reply in comments. So we select this option because what we want to do is once somebody hits the actual the keyword that we have here, we want to then send them over to their DMs. However, a lot of times because it's a first DM interaction, they're not going to see our message. It's going to be in like the like hidden folder. It's not going to be in their primary DM folder on Instagram. And so we want to let them know where to find this because they might have to go find this themselves. So then we want to have some variation of, hey, thanks. We just sent you a DM. And you're going to want to have some kind of message like this that just basically lets them know, hey, we sent you a DM, so go check it out, right? And then what's nice too is that if you have a lot of people commenting and this is really working well, you want to have definitely like variations here so it doesn't look too spammy. It doesn't look like the exact same thing. So you can literally just build out different variations of the same message and it will automatically just kind of like, funnel and sift through those and just kind of use different ones to kind of keep things fresh. So you can just basically say like, you know, awesome, check your DMs, you know, we sent you a message. And maybe just like go check your DMs. And you can do like a bunch of these, right? Like I might do like 10 or something just to make sure that it doesn't like look weird. And then I would just select the option to like the comment too. This is basically just going to make it so that, again, they get more notifications that you liked it and that you actually commented. And then hopefully that will get them to then go check out their direct message, right? So cool, we hit that, we hit save in the top right hand corner. And so now we're good to go. So now basically they hit the word, they see our post. Obviously we want to have a video or something that says, hey, comment the word home for whatever the lead magnet is. If this is a downloadable, if this is a free meeting, if this is a case study, whatever we want to send them, we want a link to, some kind of free tool or whatever it is. We want to basically have that in the video. They hit the word, they comment the word home. They wanted to get the free download. Then we automatically respond to them, like the comment saying, hey, like go check your DMs. Now we need to actually send the DMs, right? So then we can go to literally Instagram DM and we can build this out. So this is where I would say like, hey, thanks so much for commenting. And then really great way to do this. So you can either just send them the actual deliverable right here. You could send them the lead magnet, whatever it might be, a link or an actual attachment. You could send it here. But what I like to do is actually get their lead information, right? And just say basically a very natural thing, which is like, where should we send, the case study, or where should we send uh, the home buyer's guide? And then we can basically build out, some kind of way to kind of get their email. So you'd either just ask them, just be like, drop your email, maybe like drop like the best email below. Um, and then just prompt them to send in their email. That's totally cool. That can work. Now, what I like to do is have more specific actual options here so that we know that they're going to choose like one specific option or we have a couple different variations of what they can actually say here. So to do that, what we need to do is actually not have a direct message be sent to them, but it's actually going to be something else. So we're going to go ahead and close out of that. And then we're going to do here, and we're going to actually go to Instagram Interactive Messenger. So this is a little bit more of an advanced tool that's built in here that we can still have it reply to comment via DM. So it's going to, reply obviously over to their comment like we already had there. But what's going to be cool is it's going to be one in the DMs, and we get a couple other really cool features like buttons right here. So you want to say basically the same message, like, thanks for responding to, let's say, our video. Where should we send the, whatever it was, the home buyer's guide? Where should we send the home buyer's guide? And then we can actually go through here and build out buttons. So that's going to give them some options about how they can, basically respond here. So then we can just say basically like, let's say we want to send them here to a actual, tell us where to send, the guide. And then we can basically either perform some sort of an action, or what we can do is open an actual website link. And then so we could send them to a form or to some sort of a page that's actually going to, just be where they can collect like their phone number, their email, their name, all that good stuff, right? So you can have like a basic like form built out where you can just basically say, hey, like here's where you want to submit this. It can even be like a Google, an actual Google form that people could fill out, and that's great as long as you get access to that tool, and then you can obviously send them whatever it is, right? Now, what's cool about this is that you can basically have it be like whatever it is, and then what's cool about like high level and the Jarvis Social Manager is that you can build this out here, send a link in here. So I'm just gonna do, this isn't the right kind of link, but jarvismediaco.com. And then let's say if they click on that, right? Then they can they'll go fill out their information, and then we could say, oh, let's have this then wait. So we want to make sure that their information goes through and all that stuff. They click on the link, they want to give them enough time to fill that out. Let's say we'll give them like 2 minutes. This could also be, very different. You can also basically make this be, some sort of specific thing, like they fill out like a form, or like a condition here. And it could be actually that they, contact details, that they basically, we have like their email or whatever it might be. Um, let's say like is not, is, we add all these conditions, right? So we can get really in the weeds here. I'm not going to do that because it's going to be a little too dense. But we can basically just say like, oh, we're going to wait for a certain amount of time. So time-based delay, wait 2 minutes after they click on that. And then we'll go ahead and we can actually send them an email. Now, you can do this a couple different ways. So you can either have it so that you can just keep it really simple and then just wait 2 minutes and then try to email them the link. And obviously, if they haven't submitted their email, then it won't have anywhere to send it to, which is totally fine. Or you can actually just have a different workflow for the form itself, so that once the form is submitted, then like that'll be the trigger for a different workflow. Then you send them the thing, right? So you could do that basically, and then what you could do for here is the wait is you can just wait for a couple minutes, or maybe even something like 10 minutes. And then you can even just have like another Instagram DM that just says, basically, hey, did you receive the form, or the guide to your email? And again, this is only if they click it. So what's really cool about this is that basically, if there's something wrong with your system, you're asking like, hey, did you receive the guide to your email? Just making sure it's still keeping the conversation fresh. But at the same time, you'll know if something goes wrong. They're like, oh no, I submitted my email and I didn't see it. Or if they clicked on the link but they didn't actually end up filling it out, that will remind them to do so, right? They'll be like, oh no, I actually didn't get to fill it out yet. And then you can even just prompt them and say like, hey, like, well, no problem at all. Like, do you want to just give me your email now and I'll send it right now? And that's a great natural way to do that, right? So it encourages people to actually fill out the form and to complete the information. And there's a lot of different things you can customize in here to make like the system even more advanced if you want to. But this is just a great way to get leads to naturally go into a DMs, naturally start a conversation there. And it doesn't feel awkward or random or like a cold call to them because it's all in the platform that they interacted with you on the first place on. So it's a really powerful tool. And again, if you have a really strong lead magnet, something really great to give people, and you prompt them to give it, you're going to have a high success rate. So then the last thing you'll just need to do is hit save, and then obviously, or actually publish and then save, but I'm not going to do that because this form obviously is just an example we're showing right here. The next funnel I want to show you is a very straightforward funnel, but the amount of volume in it is what has generated such great results with it. So if we go back into Jarvis Social Manager, you can actually see here that there is just a very basic, realtor lead book a call. So this is when a lead comes in through a Facebook lead form. So basically, you just have a lead form built out. You assign it to a certain page. They basically, complete the form. I've had many videos about how to build out Facebook forms, whatnot, and then you attach that basically here so that as soon as the form is filled out, it starts this trigger automatically. This is great because if you do lead forms or any sort of digital marketing lead generation, you want an automated process to start working the lead immediately. There can still be, and highly recommend there still be, a manual component to those leads, to that lead generation process or lead nurture process. But what you really want to make sure is that like you have speed to lead, you're immediately interacting with them, and all of that good stuff. So what you can do is just build this out. So this funnel is really straightforward. We used to run this all the time, and it's still really effective. This actually helped to get this real estate agent 3 transactions in the first 30 days of running it. So not leads, but transactions in the first 30 days. It was wild. So what we're going to do here is we're just literally creating an opportunity, and this is just for the data side of things so that we can kind of keep track and manage things in the backside. So you're obviously just filling out, oh, the opportunity name is going to be the contact's name and the contact's last name. If you're building this out yourself, you just literally can use this little custom values tab, go to contact, and you can get their first name, last name, whatever it might be. This is just going to be how you identify what the actual opportunity is called, so don't worry about that. Opportunity value, this is just a basic amount value that you can attribute to what the lead is worth to you. That's really up to you, but obviously that can help you keep track of numbers and what your opportunities and how much money you have in leads that haven't been worked or whatever. And then just the status is just open because it's a brand new lead in this case. So very cool. We'd hit save there. Next, we want to assign to a user. So this is where you'd actually want to obviously assign to yourself. If you're the only person in your CRM, you don't have to really worry too much about this, but you can just literally like click a name, assign that, and then you should be good to go. And so that way you're going to be linked to this new lead who has come in, which again, this is all just doing the background stuff that's going to make things flow really, really smoothly for you. Nextly, you can update the contact field if you want. This is something that we did just because we had many different agents going through the same basic CRM process. So you're not going to need to really do this, but this is just basically if you need to make any updates on the contact field, based off of anything, like if you want to assign them to a certain person on your team and there are other people, you could do it this way or assign them to a certain calendar. This is more in the weeds that won't really apply to you if you're building this out for yourself. And then we added an actual tag. So this basically says like, oh, we're gonna actually say this is a certain kind of lead. This is what they responded to this ad, they responded to whatever. This again just helps us notate everything so that we can quickly look at our CRM and see, okay, this is a kind of lead that responded to this kind of an ad. They need this or whatever it might be, right? Now, next, we have some notifications here. So the big ones here are the internal notifications. So I like to make sure that I get a notification every single time a lead comes in, right? Through any funnel. I just want to know, and I want to be present, I want to be aware, right? And just gives me a really quick, fast way to just kind of acknowledge like what's working, what's not, and if anything needs changes. So I just like to send an internal email to myself, and just basically say, oh, like new real estate lead added, or just a basic message so that I know what it is. And then what's nice is that I can use this text here to basically just tell me all the custom information. So again, at a glance, I just know what's happening. So you literally can just go to custom values again, go to contact, and you can get, oh, this full name became a lead. And then I can also just say, oh, well, here's their email, here's their phone. And then in my lead format, if I have certain kind of questions, like if they're a buyer, if they're a seller, if they're selling for a certain amount, or if they're looking to buy in a certain time frame, I can plug in that information because it's all going to be communicated from the Facebook lead form ad directly into the CRM here. And then that's how I can basically connect this. Like that's a video for another time. It's more in the weeds, but you can do that very effectively here so that you can get a notification that says exactly what that lead is looking for, right? Now I also just sent a text message to myself saying the exact same thing, right? Next is going to be the actual message to the lead themselves. So we want this to happen immediately, right? As soon as somebody becomes a lead, we want them to get some follow-up messages. So we basically just had a very basic message that said, hey, just saw person's name, just saw your information come in. Thanks for responding to our ad for home buyers and sellers. Let's book a time for us to chat, see how we can help with your real estate goals. Book a time to talk here. Now, obviously, there's a typo here. This is not a live thing anymore. But you would want to correct that typo. And then you would want to go ahead and have a link there. So they click that link and it goes right to a Calendly link. And they can book a time in the person's actual calendar, right? So that's super helpful, super straightforward. You're going to have some drop off here because a lot of people are like, I don't want to book a meeting. I don't want to do whatever. And again, this is a very basic message here. So you can have this be more customized. If you have a more specific lead magnet, like, hey, love to walk you through the free home estimation, or we'd love to, sit down for your free consultation, whatever like lead magnet you might use, you can leverage that to basically get them to be on a meeting. If you tell people in the lead magnet you're going to send them this thing, it could be sending them some kind of a downloadable or walking them through a downloadable, which is contingent upon a meeting, right? Like that's great because 80% of agents or buyers or sellers use the first agent they speak with. So that's a great way to get your foot in the door, right? And then we send a text message that says basically the exact same thing. It just sends them back to the link to book in a meeting, right? And this is super straightforward, but it worked wonders for him, for this real estate agent. And it just shows basically how volume in and of itself, can be really, really effective. And clarity can be super effective over, trying to be clever and trying to have some super crazy thing here. But then you'd want to have basically a wait period. So now that we've sent them a text and an email immediately after they become a lead, we want to wait a little bit. So you could customize this. I like to wait 10 minutes because, again, I want to make sure when the lead has responded to our ad, that is when they're the most active. So I don't want to wait too long before sending them another message. And then if they basically, I can send them a message, or I can basically have other conditions happen here. So I chose the condition option. We used to send another message immediately, and we've tested out different ways of doing that. Advantage here, you get more volume. Disadvantage, you might tick people off if they're not able to respond. They might ask you to stop sending the messages, which is the worst case scenario, because then we, legally can't send them more messages. So test that out for yourself. I like to say, like, it's more about the message you send than the amount of messages you send, but definitely if you off the bat just start texting people a ton of times, they're going to tell you to stop. So what I like to do here is make a condition where basically if they booked the appointment through that link that we sent, right? So if they're active in this other workflow, which triggers basically as soon as they build out, as soon as they complete their information and they book a time in Calendly, it immediately starts another workflow. So I'll know that if they've done that whole thing, they're going to be active in this other workflow, right? And so I can say like, hey, here's a condition after 10 minutes. If they are active in this, or if they're not active in this other workflow, I want to have like a different result occur. So if they are active and they have booked, then I'm just going to give them a tag that says, hey, they booked their meeting, like good to go. And then it's going to end. So they're no longer going to be in this funnel, which is perfect. And if they haven't, then I want to wait another hour or 10 minutes. In this case, I forgot I would change that time over. And then we can wait again, maybe another 2 minutes. There are other reasons why we had this. Again, this is not no longer a live funnel, but this is something that you can just have one wait for 12 minutes. You don't have to wait for 10 minutes, then wait for 2 minutes. Then we can send them another message that just says like, hey, certain person, don't forget to book your meeting before our calendar fills up. And then an email that says basically the same thing, right? Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Hey, don't forget to book your meeting before the calendar fills up. Then we want to wait another hour, and again, just do the same process as before. And now we just want to see, again, if they are booked, then in that whole other funnel, then we can say, oh, they're booked, give them a tag, and then get them out of this funnel. And then we can wait another hour, and then send another text message and another email. So this is a lot of volume, right? And keep in mind, you will have people who opt out of this. There are going to be people who are like, hey, this is too much. Like, just stop, leave me alone. So you have to play that by ear and test these things out. But this volume worked wonders for Imran because he just got so many messages sending out to the folks immediately. And you can customize this message. Just even say something like, if you didn't want to do it, be like, hey, last message I'm gonna send you today. Just wanted to make sure you got this in case you were in a hurry. Like you could change this like message up to basically help to hedge your bet against people being like, oh my God, stop harassing me, which is totally fine, and I highly recommend experimenting there. Because then again, after what happens there is then we're going to wait 24 hours, right? Because then we've sent 3 emails in, basically an hour and 15 minutes or so. That's a lot. Like we don't want to do any more than that. So then what we've done is have a condition here and say, oh, again, if they've booked a meeting, then we add the booked a meeting tag. If they haven't, we're going to add a cold lead tag, or, I wouldn't call them a cold lead. That's just what we called it. And then I'd remove the tag that says hot lead, which is the first tag that we added at the beginning of this funnel. So what that's going to do is then there's another funnel I have for more of a long-term, long-tail nurture sequence that actually ends up triggering when this tag gets assigned. So what's really cool is that as soon as a tag gets assigned that says cold lead, they're going to go into that other funnel, and we're going to start slowly nurturing them. And then this hot lead tag basically is going to get removed so that we know when we look at the opportunity side of things that they're no longer a hot lead, they're a cold lead. They're a lead that's we've had for 24 hours that hasn't responded, hasn't booked an appointment yet. And then we can move on to the next engagement here. So this is so powerful just because, again, we're getting within like an hour and 15, 3 text messages, 3 emails. And let me tell you, man, like, you will get people who opt out of this for sure, but at the same time, you will make sure, you will guarantee that volume is not the reason that this lead is not responding, right? You've given multiple opportunities to respond, and you can customize the language that decreases the opt-out rates, and that's great. That's highly recommendable, but it's just a really great way to just make sure you're getting a ton of volume in there and that you are interacting with those leads as soon as they come in, which is super, super powerful. The third funnel I want to show you is a long-tailed, endless follow-up sequence that can work in combination with some manual cold lead nurture that has just insane results. So it's for the same agent I just showed the previous one to, who got the insane 3 transactions in the first 30 days of working with us. But it worked so well that, of course, I want to share this here. So this is the cold lead follow-up. And what this is designed to do is it's designed to obviously hand off from that second funnel that we just had there, where clients were, or leads were coming in, and then if they hadn't actually opted into a meeting or to whatever the next step is that you want them to do, they automatically fall under this cold lead follow-up. So you can see here that the trigger is that they got the tag cold lead for the agent. And then that immediately starts this whole process, and then obviously they would end out of the process from before. So they would stop getting messages from the last funnel where we're trying to book them, within the first 24 hours to have a meeting or whatever it might be. And then immediately we jump into this sequence. So one, we can assign this to the user. This might not change at all for you, so you might not even need to do that. Second, we'd update the contact field. We would basically just make sure, here is what we're doing, is just making sure that they're basically assigned to the right agent. So because we're doing this for multiple agents, you wouldn't have to worry about that. So then now keep in mind that that was after the first 24 hours when nobody would book a meeting. Then we'd wait 7 days. Now you can customize this, but this is basically what I would probably do now, because this is a while ago we built this, was that I would probably have a longer process in that second funnel where we'd follow up with them more often before triggering them as a cold lead. But then I would still make this one start after 7 days. So 7 days after they've switched over to this actual funnel, then we want to basically send them a message that says, hey, could you remind me if you were looking to buy or sell your home? That's just a nice message that oftentimes gets a good response. Now, if we want to have a wait option here, and this is waiting for their reply, because this is a message just going out to their text message, right? So we're saying, hey, if they reply to this text message in 1 day, then we want different things to happen, right? So you'll see here that if they do respond, then we'll send an internal notification. So we'd send a notification to yourself or whoever is managing this for you and say, hey, this person, this lead has responded, reply back with this appointment, and then link, and then basically do that. So this is because it's like a manual message with waiting for their reply. We basically have an internal notification that says hey, they replied, respond back with this link, right? Just kind of prompting you in terms of the best response you can have in order to, actually hand off that manual conversation from the automatic one. And then I would even actually not respond with the link. I'd be like, hey, awesome. Do you have time tomorrow? Or do you have time Wednesday? And then just book that for them manually is what I'd probably do now. And then I would want to wait 1 day. And then I would go to this next part of the sequence, which is basically if they did not respond, then I would send them an email that basically says the same thing. Like, hey, saw your information come through about potentially buying or selling a home in the near future. Would you be opposed to a quick 15-minute chat this week so we can get you going in the right direction? And then again, that waits 1 day. If they replied to the SMS, then great. Then we'll have the notification there. But then basically, if nothing else has happened there, what we can do is send another internal notification that basically just says hey, respond back if they've basically emailed back, whatever it might be. And then we go into the next phase. So now we're going to wait 2 days. So then we're going to see if they responded to either the SMS or the email, any one of the messages that we've sent over the past 2 days. If they do, then again, we're going to send a notification that says, hey, respond to this person, all that good stuff, right? And then if that ends, it's still going to automatically bring them back over to here. Because again, if they respond, that doesn't mean that they've booked the appointment yet. So unless they're actually booked the appointment and that's going to take them out of this funnel, we still want to have them in this long tail nurtured, right? So if they do respond and nothing happens, they're still going to come over here. And if they just never responded, then they're going to end up here either way. So then we're going to send them a text message that just says where would you like to go with your real estate search? whether you're going to buy or not, whether you're ready to buy or not so sure. Let's grab a quick time to chat. And this person can provide some insight to your current market. Here's the best time to chat, right? And then email, same basic thing. The real estate market near you, person's name. Would you be opposed to a quick chat on the local market so you can determine if buying or selling a home makes sense for you? Choose the best time to chat here. And again, the link to the calendar. Then we're going to wait another 7 days. And then, again, if they respond to any one of those manually, we're going to have that same trigger where it lets us know and tells us how to respond. And if they don't, then we're going to send them another message. This one says, hey, Cole here again from this person's real estate team. They wanted me to reach out as the market has changed even since the last message your way. This is a nice automatic message because the market's always changing, right? So it can be completely accurate at the same time, truthful. Accurate and at the same time easy to automatically have this in here forever. They wanted me to reach out. Would you be against a quick 15-minute phone call? We can get the information you need to make a strong decision. Here's the link to the calendar, right? Great. And then it goes to their email. And then basically same basic message like, hey, this has changed. Like, book a time to chat here. Then we're going to wait another 14 days, right? If they responded to any one of those messages at any time in those 14 days, we're going to get that manual notification again to kind of strike up the conversation there. And if they have not, then it's going to go into after 14 days. It's going to send them another message. It says, how is your real estate search going? Blank agent is available to help you find the best property or buyer for your home. Schedule a quick phone call here. And then email is basically saying the same sort of message here, blah, 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 blah. Then we're going to wait 30 days. So you see that this constantly gets less and less frequent. And that's by design here because we want to make sure that we're not pissing them off if they're not really ready to move forward. Again, if they respond to any one of those messages, and by the way, this gets more and more and more because if they respond to any one of the messages in this entire sequence, we'll send that notification. So that's important because if they respond to the first email or first text message, it'd be kind of funny for them to do that and not respond to the most recent one, but they could. And then it's going to still send us the notification saying, hey, this person responded, reply with them to get a meeting on the books. Then if they don't respond in 30 days, then we're going to send them this message. Hey, John or whatever, Cole here from this agent's real estate team. Are you looking to buy or sell a home in the near future? What would be the best time to chat? Just a basic message. Email is sending the same basic message again. This is more about the sequencing and less about obviously the message here. You can customize this and use better offers, and there are definitely a lot better ways to follow that up, but just the volume and the timing, the time frame is what I'm kind of illustrating here. Then we want to wait another 30 days. If they respond to any one of those messages, we'll send them we'll get a notification that we can send them a manual message. And then if they don't, we're going to send them another text that says, hey, we've had some changes to the market recently and it may influence your next home sale or purchase. Keep in mind, this is almost 90 days after they've responded to our ad. So this is a whole quarter. There's definitely changes. Grab a quick time to chat here and we can walk you through what may be in your budget. And then basically email sending the basic same thing. Wait another 30 days. If they respond, we'll get a notification and follow up with them manually. And if they haven't, then we'll send them, hey, what's your real estate plan, so-and-so? If you need a bit of time helping buy or sell a home, or you're just in the early stages and need a professional to talk to, this agent would love to help, or I would love to help, whatever makes sense for you and your business. When works for a time to chat, if you don't mind, booking that time here will get you taken care of in no time, right? Basic message. Wait another 30 days. And again, if they've responded, then we'll get a manual message to respond back to them. And if not, we basically have the sequence here, which is just initiate endless repeat. So now if they haven't, after 30 days of that, so this is 130, 145 days or so, then we want to initiate the endless repeat. So then this will send us all the way back up to one of the very top messages here, which is what actually happened after 48 days. So then if they goes back here and it goes back to this message which says, how is your real estate search going? This person is available to help you find the best property for your home. Schedule a quick phone call here. And then we start the process over again. So what's so cool about this whole process is that if for any reason, they end up, basically, responding, we get a message immediately so we can respond with them and have a natural manual conversation, right? And if they just respond with booking a time, That'll obviously take them out of here. We have another funnel basically for their follow-up, just reminding them about the appointment coming up. That will take them out of here as well. And if they don't respond to anything, this will endlessly loop for them and continue to nurture them along the way. So this is, again, not as much about the messaging as more about just the consistency and the automatic tool built out here so that you'll never run out of following up with these leads. You will consistently follow up with them, which is why it's so important to make sure that you have the right kinds of leads in the first place, right? We don't want to just do this and harass them forever if they're not actually interested in buying or selling. And one thing I would change if I was building this nowadays is I would have more of an incentive to respond, right? Be like, hey, we have this downloadable. Hey, like, we've seen like another home sell really well recently. Let's show you what they did. All this kind of stuff that could be more beneficial and get people on the call. But this is going to be really great for warm leads who are saying, hey, I'm looking to buy or sell in the very near future, which you can customize in your actual ad, and in your lead form. If you're using a meta lead form, you can basically ask them what their time frame is and vet them based off of that. And then ultimately, if they're like highly qualified, you can go into this funnel follow-up so that you can make sure that you're constantly hitting them over and over again. You're never dropping off. You're consistently staying on top of the messaging here. And then so they come into the funnel, whether it's through Instagram or through a lead form or whatever kind of campaign you have to get them as a lead. You immediately have 3 follow-ups within 24 hours on both text message and another 3 follow-ups with email. And then you can build out also manual cold prompts that just sends you a message say, hey, call this lead immediately, which I highly recommend. And then on top of that, if you don't get them to respond quickly or in the first 24 hours or 3 days or whatever, then you can have this endless cold lead follow-up sequence, which can just make sure that you're constantly staying on top of mind. And you can always send them manual messages on top of that. You don't have to only rely on this. You can also have market updates going out to them. And that can be based off of like the tag, right? So that you can add them to your email list for your manual updates based off of if they say, hey, they're a cold lead now, right? And we want to nurture them. So there's amazing tools you can have, amazing benefits you can have with these tools, I should say, with these funnels. They've seen amazing results for the clients that we've helped with, and hoping that that helps you build it out for yourself. If you want to click below to the Jarvis Social Manager link, try it out for 14 days for free. You can build out all of this that I just showed you there, and it doesn't cost a thing to try it out for the first 14 days of this. So hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next video.